Welcome to the Employment Wednesday podcast with Yvonne Shabangu. Have you heard of the scripture Hosea 4 verse 6? My people perish because of the lack of knowledge. The same applies to your career. When you don't know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, you are likely to make wrong career choices. But worry not. Employment Wednesdays is here for you to offer you all the answers relating to your career and offer you strategies to develop your career. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of Employment Wednesdays. And today I'm seated with one of your faves. I'm seated with Promise Makunyane, and she's a graduate from the University of South Africa. Amongst other certifications, she holds a national diploma in public relations management. And she has experience in the influencer marketing. She is currently employed by one of the biggest institutions, and she is employed as an influencer campaign coordinator. And furthermore, she is an entrepreneur. She runs an errands and concierge businesses. I don't know if I said it properly, but yes, and she is a proud mom and wife. And most of us know her from Own Your Narrative, her podcast. She is founder of Own Your Narrative. So I'm so happy to have you today. I'm a bit nervous because I feel like I'm sitting with an OG.
Oh my gosh. I've only been doing podcasting for less than a year. I don't know why you would call me an OG.
But you are doing so great.
Thank you.
You're doing so great. And I really love how you take the bold step to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. You are the reason why I would call you an OG, besides the years of experience, you're a conversation starter.
100%.
You get a person thinking to say, okay, is this really happening?
Why would she say this?
Yes. Why would she say that? Why would she think that? You know? But now, before I go into the icebreaker questions, I just want to tell you about one of my most favorite episodes of yours. And I think for me, it taught me something that I need to learn.
Okay.
And I think it's one of the reasons I was like, okay, I would want to sit and have a conversation with her. More than anything, you listen and you're not emotionally defensive. You had an interview with Nota.
Oh my gosh.
That interview was just, I kept on thinking, if I was Promised, I would have stood up and said, keep quiet. Let me
No, it was
speak.
one way. It was a monologue. I was speaking alone. I had like 15 minutes on my podcast to speak to Nota.
And I love how you handled it. You handled it with so much grace. And I love how on so many occasions you didn't agree with certain things, but you were not harsh about it.
Yeah.
You allowed him to have his opinion. And in as much as you were countering it, you didn't undermine him, which is something that happens to him a lot. You know, you were so respectful. I love that because, wow, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, like what you say is something that I had to teach myself. Like I'm somebody who's vocal, who's stern, who's like hard, and I wouldn't give people a chance.
Sure.
You know, if you say something and I don't believe in what you said, I would attack you there and then we'll go into a debate, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that when I was now like working on myself, doing self-awareness, going to therapy, I'm like, we can coexist.
Sure.
I can just sit with you and you say something that I don't agree, but I really nod my head and just respect your space and what you believe in.
Sure.
That's not him. Most of the things that he said, I did not believe in, but some of the things that he said, I believed in.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So, but then I just held space for him and I respected him. People are different.
I loved how you handled it. It was top tier. Like, I was like, wow, the day I get to that level of emotional intelligence, I would have done great for myself.
Yeah.
So before we go into the serious stuff, I'd like us to go into some icebreaker questions. And the first one is, what was your first fragrance you ever used? And you're like, this is the one.
It was actually Joe Malone.
Nice. Okay.
From my sister. I was young, but it was from my sister.
How old were you?
Varsity, first year, 17, 18. Yeah.
Okay.
My sister gifted me. I went to Joe Malone the other day and I was looking for it. I was like explaining it, or it's like this, because the bottles are the same, but they change a bit. I went through a lot of scents and smells and I was like, I don't think, maybe they discontinue it because it reminds me of back in the years. So it was a Joe Malone, but from my sister, not from my pocket.
Okay, love that. And if you were a drink, what drink would you be?
Highball. I would be something, I'll be a cocktail that you drink in an island.
Okay.
Like something summery. I'll be a summery cocktail.
Okay.
Because
Would that be a Long Island or
What?
the colorful one?
do you drink alcohol?
Yes, occasionally.
I can tell. How would you say a Long Island? I'm a girl. I know you are not an alcohol drinker. I would say maybe just like a mojito, a pina colado.
Okay.
Something like that. Something
Strawberry
summery.
daiquiri.
Yeah, strawberry daiquiri.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the likes. Yeah.
Okay. I think there's one I have in mind. I'll tell you off camera.
Margarita.
No.
Okay.
It's colorful. It's something on the beach.
Sex on the beach.
Yes.
Or did you want me to say the word sex?
No.
Yeah. This host, because it's like something on the beach. You know exactly what it is.
And then what is? I think I know.
And
this
wait and see you making this a promo.
Wow. Okay. So I think I know this one from
Yeah.
your Instagram, but I just want to know if you're still on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
What is your weirdest favorite food combination?
Weirdest favorite food combination.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see on my Instagram?
You have to tell me first now. Then I'll tell you what I saw. And I also love it.
What is it? I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So right now you don't combine anything weird where you're like,
This doesn't
if
go
people
together.
found you eating it, they'll be like, promise.
You know what? I think I know what you are thinking, but it's not in my mind. It's like I don't know.
Okay, so I thought you're going to say the whole lemon and spice and salt
Yes.
combination. 'Cause
Lemon
I
and
love
spice,
it too.
or a raw mango and spice.
Yes, I love it too, but people find it very weird. It's like,
Not even. Yeah. That.
like I don't mind eating it like on a regular day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love it as well.
But I don't think it's weird. Maybe that's why it was in my head. I don't think it's weird.
Really, but people find it
Yeah.
weird. They just, every time I have it at home, they're like, why would you like randomly on 12 p.m. you want
Yes.
lemons and spice and salt? Why
It's
would you
very
do that?
nice.
It is nice. Okay, so let's go into the start of your career, right? High school, what is it that you wanted to be?
High school, the first thing ever I wanted to be, it was a lawyer.
Okay.
And I could be a lawyer. You know, I could really be a lawyer. But when I grew up, okay, the first thing when I was still a child, I wanted to work at a bakery because
That is so hilarious.
there was a bakery there in our village, in Tafelkop, like this
Okay.
big bakery, and my aunt used to work there. She had an office.
Okay.
So I would look at my aunt and I was like,
Yes.
I want to
You
work
also
at-
want an
Yes.
office and look that good.
I want to work in a bakery. And then the first I wanted to, then when I was growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer, and my dad really thought I was going to be a lawyer. And growing up, now I wanted to be in media. Anything media, blah, blah, blah. And then journalism. And that's just now how when I was applying, I applied for journalism and I applied for public relations management, just because acting, you can't do acting in a black family.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
I wanted to do media, but then I was like, okay, what can I do that is linked to media? That's how now I applied for journalism. I also applied for public relations management.
So then you wanted to do law, but you don't apply for law.
Yeah.
Was it because you didn't qualify, or was it because you changed your mind? You're like, this law thing can come later on.
Yeah. So no, law was maybe as I was leaving primary into the first years of high school. That was when I wanted to do law. But then when it was time for us to apply and be like in grade 11, 10, 11, 12, I wanted media.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't something that I wanted to do at the end of me having to choose where I'm going. When I was in grade 12, no, it was a long time ago dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get that. And then, okay, now you've applied, because fun fact, I also wanted to do journalism.
Okay.
Yes, I've always been a creative, but like you said, black families, you can't go and be an actor or be a writer.
Yes.
So I wanted to do journalism, and my teacher convinced my parents to say, there's no way this kid can do journalism because she's doing well. Let her go do law, because with law, then she can do journalism later on.
Yeah.
Then I ended up enrolling for my LLB, which sometimes, because I'm done with it now and gone through all the processes,
Yeah.
sometimes I always wonder, had I followed what I really wanted to do, how would I have turned out? And sometimes I feel like I would have been far ahead in life.
No.
You know? But also you are where you need to be, ne?
Yes. It's what you're saying is I did the because obviously when you say that when you wanted to study law and somebody said you're doing great and you can't do like media or journalism, what do you need? I don't even know the requirements of law, because if I wanted to do law and it required the highest marks, I wouldn't, because I was just an average student.
So
What
now,
does it require? I'm just an average student, my girl.
so now, as far as I know, ne, Unisa does have a lower APS score,
Okay.
which is like 28 to 32, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Then when you go to likes of UJ, that it has to be as high as possible, because there's a huge number of people applying for it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, that's great. And then now, where did you apply? Did you know how to apply? And who told you about these courses? Were you informed?
So I went to a school in my town, like a school in my town, and they took us to an open day, and that's where we had those things. But honestly, coming from a black family, I did not know what. I did not have the information. I was just reading about journalism. You just know what journalism is. But with my public relations, with my media studies, you don't really know. You are thinking that I'm going to study media studies and be an actor. Can't you have to do arts and blah, 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 you know? I did not have information at all. And then we went to open day. Even open day, you are just here partying in Pretoria. You're excited. It's not like you are really focused, or today I want to know and ask questions.
Yeah.
And from there, I really just applied. But journalism, I know from the top of, everyone knows what it is.
Yes.
But others, I didn't really know what it is. But I just knew bits and pieces that, okay, public relations, you're going to work with, it's more like communication. It's more like being a what of this person, of this brand, or, I did not know much about it.
Yes.
But then I went on and enrolled in it.
You went and enrolled for it. And then how did you feel when you got okay, before that?
Yeah.
So you just applied at Unisa, or you applied at other institutions?
I applied at TUT for international relations, and I also applied for journalism.
Okay.
They took me for international relations and not journalism. And I wanted journalism.
Oh.
I don't think they had public relations management there. I don't know. I can't remember, but I know I applied for the two and they took me for one because I did not qualify for journalism. It was my English.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So that's how now I left there. Oh no, wait, I'm lying. So first year, I go to Pretoria to apply. I matriculated like 2010.
Okay.
2011 January we go, and I apply. I go with like a bunch of friends from home.
Yes. Okay. So you guys just agreed and you went there.
Yes, we're going there. We got our matric results.
Okay.
And then we left. And it also points back to being a black child. Like your parents are not there with you. Like
you're doing it by yourself. You're just figuring out from the streets. You're just figuring
out. You're going to, there is like a sister that is in varsity there. Then you guys are going to meet her. And then all those things. Anyway, so I got there. The first day I was in Pretoria with my statement to go and look for a school. I got into a motorbike accident and I broke my femur bone. Then I had to be home for the first 3 months of my first year. I wasn't in school.
So you were not attending classes or anything? You were just at home?
My dreams just shattered there. Came down and it was so traumatic. And that's one thing that I always speak about, even when I speak, like when I'm in therapy, I would speak about it because it's a trauma that I've suppressed.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, Ghana, this happened. And this was the darkest moment of my life. I was so sad because you are a villager wanting to go out of the village. You are excited about this. All your friends are going, but you have to go back home. So, yeah.
I can imagine how that traumatic is, ne? I have a very similar story, but with me, it happened in my final year of LLB.
Okay.
I got terribly bent. Doctors said I may never walk again. like it's actually a miracle that I can walk. I was in my final year exams. My nerves on my legs are bent. I don't even know how I'm walking. But so technically my doctor told me not to go to school and everything, but because I'm a fighter, I was just like to my doctor, no, I had to cancel interviews, article interviews, and any other thing that I was doing. I was like to my doctor, I need to get to school. I need to write exams at least because I'm almost there. I'm just left with 6 months. And my doctor was like, you're doing that at your own risk. And I woke up every morning. I would cry because of the pain, but I forced until I finished school. You know, a part of me always felt like, yo, what if I'm being bewitched? You know, it feels
because I'm
like
about
that,
to finish.
you know?
Yeah.
And I was about to bring it to your point to say, didn't it feel like, yo, my enemies are
I
after
still
me?
feel I was bewitched.
Yeah.
You know how petty I am. I still feel my enemies were after me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very much after me.
Okay,
That's how I felt.
So then you healed after 3 months.
So that's how you see now when you speak about this thing, you get to realize how now I'm just getting an aha. That's how I ended up doing distance learning.
Oh,
That
wow.
was because of the oh gosh.
Wow.
Because I was going to TUT and then
You
that's how
couldn't
now-
start. Then
oh
you
my
ended. So
gosh.
Unisa was never actually part of the
No.
plan.
Oh
Shucks.
my gosh. I even feel emotional because I'm like,
Aw.
you know how you suppress emotions. You
Yes.
cannot even know why I did that thing. So now I'm like, oh, that's why I did distance
Okay.
learning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how Unisa came about.
Because I was wondering, because it's usually people apply for Unisa
When they are home.
Yes, when they're home and when they're working already, because I mean, it's conducive for people that work and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But now when you think about it, you were excited from Matric. Why would you go
Yes.
for Unisa straight up when there's other institutions?
It's actually so bizarre that I'm thinking about this now. And in my mind, I thought the accident was the first day I went to the city to look for space, but it wasn't because I went to TUT.
Yes.
I was at the Soshanguve campus before.
So you were ready to start. Everything was set.
Dude. So I went to TUT and then you see, I need to go and decode this thing because
Yes.
it's like but now basically I'm saying Unisa came at the back of my accident.
Yes. It
Yes.
was never part of, it
Yeah.
wasn't your first plan.
No. I did not even think about Unisa because I thought Unisa were for old people.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought too. Because I never hear people straight from Matric and they say
Yeah.
they're going to Unisa. It's rare.
No, I think I need to sit down and take myself back to 2011 and just put it down nicely because I don't
Yes.
understand when I went to Sosha, TUT, when I went to, because I started at Boston again. And yeah, I need to sit down and decode that. But
Yeah.
Unisa has never been part of my plans. But now I'm getting an
It was
aha
a means
that
to an end.
Yes.
Alternatively,
it
say
was
I
an
can't just stay at
alternative.
home.
Yes.
Okay. But you know also what's really inspiring, right, is that you got hit, but you were still able to say, you know what, I can't get what I want right now
Yeah.
with my friends,
Yeah.
but I can get an alternative even though it's not with my friends. So throughout you did your degree at home. How's that experience?
I did not do my national diploma, not degree.
Yes, sorry.
I did not do it at home. So I came to Pretoria after 3 months.
Okay.
But I was doing distance learning in my flat.
Oh, okay.
So I
you
did
stayed.
not. Yes,
in-
I stayed
Okay.
in Pretoria, but I wasn't going on campus.
Yes. How was that experience of actually learning from home? Because
Yeah.
now it's much more familiar. We have tools for it. But I can imagine back then you're
Yeah.
fresh out of matric where you are used to being taught, seeing a class teacher every day.
100%.
And then now you have to figure things out on your own and, you
Yeah.
know, watch classes online.
So I remember back in the years, Unisa was what with Boston.
Okay.
So I stayed in Acadia next to the Boston
Campus.
campus,
Yes.
Boston Acadia campus. So I would go to Boston
Yes.
for some classes.
Okay.
Or for the computers were at the thing. Actually, I'm getting a lot of guys. So some of the modules that I was doing with Unisa, they had an affiliation with Boston.
Okay.
So I would have my classes in Boston. I would have my tests in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not with Unisa.
No.
Not at Unisa.
Not at Unisa. Because
Okay.
Unisa was up there and I was staying in Acadia. So some of my modules, I was taking them inside Boston.
Okay.
So it's like... So it's like, I can't even remember, guys, trauma.
Shucks.
Yeah. But basically, Unisa was affiliated with Boston, right? And then some of my public relations management courses, I was having like classes online on a computer in Boston. But I can't remember what was happening, but I was having them go Boston.
Okay.
But otherwise, it was distance learning. I was not going to school. I was always home.
Didn't you struggle with that? Or did you find it okay? Did you just easily adjust?
No, I wouldn't say I found it okay because I was still young and I was from a face-to-face.
Yes.
But my accident and me being home made me resilient. Made me to say, I'm going there, I'm going to catch up. And however means that I'm going to use to, like as a way of education, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't like I can't even remember me sulking or whatever. I've sulked through the 3 months when I was home. But when I was going to Pretoria, I was like, okay, now I'm going to learn. I do not even care if I'm going to learn through a stone, but I'm going to learn.
Okay. All right. So now you graduate with your national diploma.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Were you excited? Or was it just, okay, we're done. I still want journalism because remember the initial plan was journalism.
I was very excited. And I think looking back now, the excitement is for our parents, honestly speaking.
That's very true.
Because for you, yes, it's a moment, but more so it's just I made my parents proud.
Yes.
And looking back now into my days, now that I'm older and I have my voice, I'm just not a career girl.
Ooh, love that.
I'm not a career girl. Yes, I'm working, yes, but I'm not that girl. I'm okay with being the bottom of the barrel in the workspace, but pay me.
Yes.
You can call me a cleaner.
Yes,
but
pay me well.
Yes, I'm not
Sure.
a career girl. That's how now I realize, because after that I had to continue studying, but I did not study. I went to look for a job. That's when I started working. And now I'm like, I'm really not a career girl.
You know what? I love you and love that statement because it's such a bold and a brave statement in the society that we live in now. Because our society says everybody has to be a boss.
Yeah.
I don't know how we operate because we can't all be bosses. It means we want chaos. Most of the time people are shunned on when it's I don't want to be a career woman. It's almost as if you're not doing enough. But I love that you acknowledge that, you know what, I need to work, I need to pay bills. But in an ideal world, if you ask me what I need or what I want, I don't want to be a career woman.
No.
And that's that.
That's really that. And it took me, obviously, for me to be in myself and to be in tune with myself, to be able to accept the fact that, yes, I went to school and I don't regret it.
Yes.
If I would do it again, I would do it. I love the fact that I'm qualified and I've got this. But the fact that I want to go up the career ladder in my no.
And be like CEO of what?
I don't want to be a manager. I don't want to be an MD. I don't want to be a director. I just want this position. Let me do what I have to do. Just pay me.
I think you've liberated a lot of people at home because there is so much pressure in climbing the ladder.
The ranks.
People go through mental health issues. People die. People kill themselves. People don't have family time and all of these things in the name of, I need to go up the rank.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely no need. You just need to find your rhythm, what works for you, and run with that. If you want to be a managing director, great, but don't do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Don't do it for us or for the eyes. Do it because you genuinely want that.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're right. It takes boldness because throughout my working life, my 9-to-5 life, I've always felt like there's something wrong with me. Like when you are with like your peers at work, your colleagues, and they're like, oh, I need to do this so that I can be able to be promoted at the end review. In my mind, I'm like, I don't want those things. Am I
just
wrong?
here to work.
I'm just here to work. I don't want to do those. I don't want to be recognized by my boss. I don't want nothing. I just want to get here and work and be paid. If like there's this thing in employments where your title increases, but your pay remains the same. And people will do that and be like, I'm a what manager. I'm like,
But they don't even get paid well. What's the point?
Just call me a tea lady, but pay me.
You know, also one thing that I'm learning from your story is that God has a very funny way of operating, right? You see, you don't want all of those things, but they sort of indirectly came to you. Now you're an entrepreneur. You run your own business.
Yeah.
So in as much as you don't want to be CEO of a top bank, you are still CEO of your own business,
of my
right?
own business,
right
yes.
now you have a podcast that's thriving, that's telling stories, that's doing great.
Yeah.
You may think, oh my God, it's just a podcast, but it's actually a company. I saw you guys launch something really cool. The
With
business
Sims, right?
plug. Yes. I feel like that's so cool. And it shows how you are actually expanding from just being a podcast.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you're going to be a consultant and so many other things. So I feel like sometimes when we chase certain things, yes, we get them. But sometimes don't chase. Just be who you are. And show up as you need to. And the things that are meant for you will actually come to you. Yeah.
Now that when you're saying that, I'm not chasing the CEOs in the corporate. I'm not chasing corporate titles.
Yes.
But then now I'm a title. I'm a CEO of my own business. But now it takes me back to my business is who I am.
Sure.
My 9 to 5 is my boss's vision.
Yes.
It's a group of wealthy men that are seated across the world. We are saving them.
Yes.
So I'm a CEO of Own Narrative Podcast, which is family and marriage and family dynamics, which is who I am.
Sure.
I am a CEO of Mel's Errands and Concierge, which came at the back of me being a mom, at the back of me fixing my like failing to do like proper stuff for my child for a birthday at crèche. And that's how it was formed.
Sure.
So it's just around who I am.
Yes.
So I'm not even about a CEO or whatever. I'm just doing what feels right.
Yes.
What is me? I'm not taking out anyway. Qualification and what for me to get the no.
Sure.
I just need to show up as myself for all my businesses.
You know what? I love what you're saying because it's crazy how we take for granted being our true selves, but our true selves can actually help us tap into the best versions and also help us pay bills.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, right? Just existing, because like own your narrative is like it's like family dynamics, it's like stories. That's who you are.
That's who
it's basically you telling family stories, your setup and stuff like that. A person wouldn't think, oh, that's gonna make me millions or thousands or whatever the case may be, but it actually does. And in as much as yes, you put in the effort, you put in money or whatever the case may be to it, but it's like you are just existing.
I'm just breathing.
You're waking up and you're being.
I'm just being myself. I'm just talking about families. I'm a family woman. I come from a family. Talking about marriage. I'm married. And if I would divorce, I'll talk about divorce. I'm a divorced woman. So I'm not taking out anywhere. I'm not digging from somewhere.
So how did you get your first job? And what was your first job?
I heard you asking someone, I was like, I wish you asked me this question because I was like, oh, my first job, I was earning 2.5. I was working for a law firm that was in Pretoria CBD. I was staying in Pretoria CBD in my second year.
Okay.
Yeah. Going into my last year. It was my last year, the beginning of my last year. I worked at a law firm. I was a legal secretary for these two men. I don't know where they are. Yeah. So, yeah, I was a legal secretary.
And you got paid 2.5?
2.5.
Was it enough at the time?
Yes, it was more than enough.
Because when I think about it, I heard in the streets, I could be wrong, that apparently secretaries in big companies get paid well. I've seen some posts on LinkedIn as well where they say 45,000 Rand a month, 35.
It's true. In some points of my life, after graduating, I was an executive assistant. Executive assistant at that time, they were earning 45,000, even though I was not earning much. But then I took that role because I was looking where the market is. So yes, they get paid a lot. But for
Yes.
me, I was a student. I was my first job ever. So it was okay for me. And my parents were still taking care of me. I was never a slay queen. I was never a
Yes.
paparing girl. I was not like drinking. So it was enough. And I was
Yes.
working. It was like from here, stone throw. That
Oh, it was basically your pocket money. You
Yes.
didn't have like to pay for anything.
No,
Okay.
never.
All right. Okay, so how long did you have that role for?
I think how long? Because that's when I was like, am I meant for waking me? Actually, now that I think about it, that was just the start of me saying, actually, maybe I'm not a career woman. So I worked for maybe 6 months, and I worked for 6 months, and I had to go back home in our municipality to do communications in service training ahead of me graduating.
Okay.
So I worked for 6 months, but when I was there, I don't even know. It was just like, I was just a child, man. I remember the first time I had to go and do a license.
Sure.
I was doing my last year. And then I was telling my mother that I'm going to work. I was like, Mama, I'll call my bosses and ask them what. And we didn't tell my dad. So now my mother took the numbers and called my bosses. And after they spoke to my mom, they called me in the office. Promise, come. Girl, you are working. You are not supposed to call your mother to call us. You're
So you did the whole school thing where you tell your parents to
call
tell
the
your teacher.
Yes.
That is hilarious.
I just stood there and I started crying. And they were like, no, it's fine. But just know, now you're working.
Yes.
And then I told my dad was like, what did you do with your mother? You were at work. Okay, you could. So, man, yeah. So that was that. That was my first job.
Okay. So then after that, how do you then go into the influencer market?
So after I graduated, I worked as a PR intern quite a bit. And I think then I was feeling that PR was dying because
Sure.
I don't know, it was just dying. And also I think I was looking at the celebrity PR, not like
Yes.
corporate PR.
Yes.
So after that, I worked for a media consultancy. That's where I was an executive assistant to the media consultant, big media consultant. And from there, that was when now I was looking for jobs. I was just randomly looking for jobs that's related to media. Then when I was applying, I got a job. I got called at one of the agencies, influencer marketing agencies. I went there for an interview. I got the job. That was my first job, which was 6 years ago.
Okay.
In the influencer marketing.
Okay. So with that first job, what did you work as?
I was what was my title? What was my title there?
No, but 6 years is a long time ago. So
But I was a campaign something though.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you did that for 6 years straight.
No, I did that for 4 years, because I'm with the company for 2 years now. I did that for 4 years.
Okay.
And that company actually is the company that has all these big influencers. Most of these campaigns are through them, like my
Okay.
first job. So that was that. And then the second job was with where I am now, which I applied at an agency. And then last year, the agency got acquired by the global company. And that's how now we moved into being part of the global company.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what is right now you're a campaign coordinator.
Yeah.
Ne? Do you work how many times do you work from the office? What's your work life like?
My work life is supposed to, I don't know if I should say because I'm not going. On paper, I think it's supposed to be 3 times in the office. And 3 times in the office, 2 times out, but I go like 2 times in the office.
Okay.
It's a bit flexible, but because now we are like within the big sharks, they're structured, corporate.
Yes, sure.
And we're like, guys, we can work from anywhere in the world. And but it's very much flexible.
Okay.
But then it's on paper 2 times in the office.
Is it 9 to 5 or what time do you start work?
8:30 to 5. I don't know. Hey, I don't work around. I just work.
Yes, you just continue.
Yes.
You're like me. As long as I'm up, I've gone to the gym. I start working. When I
It's
stop,
like-
when I start.
Yes.
Okay.
But then on paper, it's 8:30 to 5 p.m.
Okay, makes sense. A day in your life, ne? Like, what do they call it on TikTok? A day in my
day in
life
the
as
life.
a campaign coordinator.
Yes.
Yes. What do you do? What time do you wake up?
Okay.
Like, what's the first thing that you do? What does your job entail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning. I kiss my husband. I'm joking.
No, you're not.
I had to throw him there. Anyway, I wake up in the morning. I fix, so Mondays, auntie's off. Let me not speak about Mondays because auntie's off. So I wake up in the morning on a Tuesday to Friday. I wake up at 7, fix my kids' lunchbox when auntie's bathing them.
Sure.
Take my daughter, drive her to school.
Yes.
The other one goes with the teacher. So I leave the other one to go with the teacher. Take my daughter to school. From my daughter's school, there is the gym. Sometimes when I'm a good girl, I go to the gym. And then at 9, I'm done at the gym. I go back home. I shower at home. I start my day.
Okay.
My day can be from, for example, right now I'm running 5 campaigns or what, with Engine, with Capfin. So it would be me checking on influencers if they have to go live, if they have to post, if there is anything that the client needs from them. I contact them. What else do I do? So I would. It's just like managing an influencer on the side. And if I have like client meetings, I have to go to client meetings, status meetings to update them. Okay, we are here. Okay, Promise Makunyane didn't post. She's being a bitch. She's saying, so it's all those things. So I just manage the influencer, and I also manage the client as expectations for the particular campaign. And if a campaign is starting, I get a brief. I look for influencers. I go online. I search for influencers, and then I put them on a deck. I send them to client as a proposal. These are the people. The client says yes, and then I plug them in, and then the campaign runs. And yeah.
Industry.
I will. I'm always like checking people's profiles because that's my work.
Okay, so I love that. You know what, Ne? I think all the things you run away from, God has a funny way of bringing them back to you. Like now, what you explained, it's almost like you're a teacher or a principal or a leader, basically, right? Or a head of something. In as much as in the direct sense of your title, it doesn't look like that. Like, for instance, you get to tell a person with 2 million followers, 500,000 followers to say, hey, you didn't post this.
Yeah.
Basically, you're leading them. They're hearing from you. Hey, your caption is not like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like it's almost as if you're living back into purpose, you know, whether, like, it's like you don't chase these things, but you work on yourself.
Yeah.
You just be, and they sort of come to you, right? And I really...
I love that.
Yeah, I also love that because I'm realizing, I'm like, this person is like, I just want to work. But it's like God gives you this like big responsibilities where you tend to have to look after big important things, because even with like own your narrative, it's like family is a big thing in society. And for you to be able to tell those type of stories, it's a great responsibility because people go on your DMs and start saying this
Even after the whole interview,
you know, you
they're
see
still there to update you.
You know, so it's really amazing watching you blossom, right? And another thing, if I wanted to be why? Your employer will watch this.
Yes. No, you see, the smaller people that are in the office, they will watch it, obviously. The bosses are there. They don't even know what's going on. But those ones, they'll tell the bosses. So, no, not really. And now that I'm an entrepreneur, maybe that's why I feel that it's not enough, because I make way
more with your side business.
Yes.
Okay. If a person at home wanted to be a campaign coordinator or go into the influencer marketing, what would they do? Like, what can they do? Where do they get these jobs? Or do they even need to study for it?
Now I think there's a course.
Okay.
Now I think there's a course, especially Vega. I think you'll find such a course. But then you just need to be social media savvy. But obviously you need like a backup, like a qualification of some sort.
Okay.
For you to be there. But sometimes, especially in our industry, you don't really have to be educated.
Sure.
You must just be educated on the internet. Like you must just know the internet. You must just know people. You must just know everything, trends and everything. And let me just point out on what you said when you said that the thing that you don't want always finds you. Like with my job, my 9 to 5. like it's so you just put it. Obviously, I'm not chasing to put it that way, but the fact that you put it that way, I'm like, oh, okay. It's actually still because I'm more like a boss of influencers. Like when I
Sure.
speak to your big influencers, they listen to me, they negotiate with me. I'm the middleman between between this big influencer and the client. I can tell the client, like I've got the right to tell the client, you can't go with this one.
Yes.
You cannot go with
It
this
doesn't
one.
align.
It doesn't align. And also 1, 2, 3, I'll go out and take out all your scandals. Do you want your brand to be affiliated with this? You know, all
Yes.
those things. So yeah. I'm glad that you said that because I'm like, oh, okay, it's still actually.
Yes. You know, one of my good traits, I have I'm an overthinker, right? But also with the smallest things, I find a way to give them a bigger meaning. You know,
Okay.
I will look behind. You know, like you're saying to you right now, you may be thinking, oh, it's just, you know. But now when I'm looking at you, I'm saying like a person who's making big decisions. Somebody's bread and butter depends on you.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. And then a person, like, you don't have to tell me your current salary, but a person that is starting up as a campaign coordinator or going into the influencer marketing, what salary range are they looking at a month?
I don't know. Because
So-
I don't study the market. I
Okay.
would only tell you about my salary.
Yes, okay, when you started, how much were you getting paid?
10.
10.
When I
Okay,
started 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And then
Like on the one that comes in my account was 9 point something or whatever. Yeah.
and then 3 years ago.
But yeah, already market did it. This will be me telling you my salary, which I want. So I don't really know where the influencer marketing space is. I've never Googled to check.
Yes.
Maybe they must just Google and check how much they get it because the only thing I can tell you is my salary of which I want.
Yes.
But for me, it's not the highest paying job on the internet, but I love it.
Okay.
I love it because also working with brands, like me, I'm a brand myself. So I work with these brands and then I'm thinking about relationships outside my work
Yes.
with these
Okay.
clients.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's because I think 9,000 is little, but if
No,
you're
it's
starting
little.
out,
If you're starting out without a qualification.
yes, it's
Yeah.
decent because
But dude,
yeah, our economy is bad. Like it's tricky. It's
that's
very
why I'm
tricky.
like, I'm just working now because I'm still having that black girl thing. You must have a
Yes,
job.
I need to bambele.
Yes, it's just that thing. But
Yes.
and when also we move to this global, there's also like benefits. There's also like school fees benefit. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
okay, let me just wait a few more years just to benefit from. And my daughter started grade 1, and the grade 1 is half a lake of a bull somewhere in
Yes.
Mauritius. It's expensive. So I was like, let me have this benefits. Let me just taste this benefits because as a parent, we are working for our children to pay school fees.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine then. Guys, Google what a campaign coordinator
yeah.
gets paid and then see if it's something that you can apply for.
Yeah.
And then what would you title the season of your life?
Blossom.
Mm.
Like I'm just blossoming. It's not even funny. That's the season where I am. Whatever I touch, it just blossoms. Touch is just blossoms. And what I've realized is that when you are in a season where you see, just do a lot of things because
Yes.
what you will do will blossom. So
Yes.
when you are in that hot moment, just do things that you want to do.
Yes, you just need to, okay.
Yes.
No, I think I'm getting a sign. After this, Employment Wednesdays is going far.
Yes.
It's going to blossom.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. To a person at home, last words of encouragement in closing, what would you say to them? They're searching for an opportunity, a job, or they want to start their studies, you know, something to encourage them.
It's just to trust the process. And I know when you are inside that, when somebody says just trust where you are, you know, just know that every other thing is linked to where you are going. Wherever you are, whether you are Emakai watching me in a shack somewhere, you will be somewhere sitting talking about that moment, about that shack moment, about when you did not have. So just try to be in the moment as it's painful. Nobody wants to lag, nobody wants to be confused, nobody wants to be misplaced, but just know there's a greater purpose. There was the time in my life where I was even depressed. That's when now, looking back, I was like, I was a depressed somebody and I was already old, I was married. I was like, but career-wise, business-wise, I did not have a purpose. Like I just felt like I did not have a purpose. but everything else is working for you good. Trust.
Oh, I love that roundup. Every single thing is working
Yeah.
for your good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are. You'll look back one day and realize that nothing lasts forever.
Nothing.
You know?
And nothing is for nothing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Like the
nothing's for
stories that
nothing.
I talk about now on my podcast, talk about my marriage, those were the dark times in my life. But
Yes.
now it's like top stories. I trained, I
Yes.
make money out of them.
Yes.
That's why I'm
yes.
like, wherever you're sitting in a shack, like hungry, that is a story that you will tell one day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. To everybody at home, so firstly, I'd like to thank you so much for honoring my invite. This was very cool. I loved how relaxed it was, and I learned a lot. And I think it was so freeing to hear somebody actually say, you know what, you don't have to be a boss babe. Because on the internet, your market, your space. On the internet, we are told we need to be boss babes. We need to own things. We need to own millions. We need to have these LVs and all of these things. But you know what? It's okay to be a simple girl.
Yeah.
If maybe God, the universe, or whatever you believe in wants that for you, it will come to you in a way.
Yes.
But just show up, be yourself, and leave, and you will see that things will align and things always work out for your good. So I hope you learned something from Promise Jenny as well, and do check out her podcast and also check out her business. She has a very what is the concierge part, the whole packaging thing?
So the whole packaging thing is under the errands where I do party packs. The concierge is me. We didn't talk about it. That's why now I have to ask. The concierge, it will be me doing like dropping off some parcels for you, doing groceries for you. So it's like doing itineraries for you, admin, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. So it's all those things,
All
which
right.
is, yeah.
Okay.
We
All
didn't
right.
have time to speak about that.
In another episode, when you
Yes.
come back, we'll talk about your entrepreneurship and all of
Yeah.
that. But I really love your packaging. I think it's pretty cool. If anybody's doing a party or whatever, please do check it out on her pages. They'll be linked below. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And happy Employment Wednesdays. Always remember, you are not alone. You are gracefully anchored. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, guys. And you said something that I resonate with, which is be yourself. Nothing tops you being yourself.
Yes.
Always be yourself.
Yeah, just be.
Just be. Do not fit. Do not over. Just be yourself. Show up as your best self.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.